You can probably hear the birds. I am standing outside. It is spring, and that means it is the perfect time to take a fitness test.
Hey guys, Coach Nate here. Today we are going through our ultimate fitness test for runners because we want to see how you measure up, not just in your ability to run, but your strength, your core stability, and of course your mobility and range of motion too, because we need all four things to be strong, stable runners. And I've really not met too many runners, including myself, who have A+ grades across the board, right? We always are good in some areas and good and not as good in others. So that's what today's all about. We're going to test our push-ups. We're going to test a max hollow body hold. We're going to test a key mobility exercise, the couch stretch. And then of course we are going to finish off with a 10-minute run.
So whether you've been training with us for 30 days or for 3 minutes, let's see where you measure up.
Okay, let's get started with push-ups. Now, push-ups are so key for developing our positional strength in our posture in our upper body, specifically my ability to hold myself upright, to have strong, stable shoulders, and to have a nice arm swing. And simply put, if I'm a runner who can't control their upper body or that upper body breaks down in my run, I'm gonna get into trouble. I'm not gonna be able to run very well. If my upper body is lost, my legs are lost with it too. So a few key things to think about in this push-up test, which is going to be for 60 seconds, and we're going to go for max quality reps in that time period.
All right, what does proper push-up form look like?
Number one, I want to make sure that I start in a nice straight plank from the toes, belly and butt's tight, our shoulders are right over the hands. Now, as I initiate this thing, I want to make sure my butt is squeezed and my quads are flexed. When this and this is tight, that stabilizes and anchors that pelvis, which is so important. If I'm loose here and I start to move, all of a sudden, my chest moves, my lower body doesn't, and I'm disconnected. So I want to be connected there. The next thing I want to focus on is making sure that I initiate this movement by hinging at the shoulders, dropping down so my hips and chest touch, not reaching with my chin or anything like that. And then trying to press back up again in a nice fluid motion. As I do this, my third and final thing, I want to make sure that my elbow stays on top of my wrist the whole time. So belly and butt squeezed, hips and chest touch at the same time, initiating with the shoulder, elbow stays on top of the wrist.
You can modify from pushing from your knees or doing the push-up into something like a table or a wall. That is just fine. As you're going through these push-ups, keep focused on maintaining that solid, good form. When you're done, record the number that you completed and make note of what happened.
Now, what I'm going to do to make sure that I stay in this position and my elbows don't slide off is I'm going to do 60 seconds of reverse hand push-ups to see how well I can do. Here we go. 3, 4, 5, 6, stay tight and connected, 7, 8, 9, 10, oh man, 11, 12, try not to let myself drop, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, if I need a break, I'm going to hold this plank. 19, 20, 21, about 10 more seconds. 22, 23, 24. Oh, whew. So 25. Now, if I had my hands forward the whole time, I could probably do a few more push-ups in that, but I really wanted to do something that forced a strict position. And I wanted to see how well I could do. So for me, 27 reverse hand, that is my trick. Our next test is going to be our hollow body hold.
Hollow body holds, hollow body holds, hollow body holds. All right, to test your midline stability, we are doing a max hollow body hold.
Now, this exercise is so good for testing out our ability to control and stabilize our spine. And yes, we could do planks, we could do sit-ups or crunches, but we like the hollow body hold because there's a technicality to it. And as you go in this position, your back is gonna wanna arch off the ground, which is exactly what happens when we fatigue, when we run. So this one tests my ability to not only get my abs burning, but my ability to sense that position and that potential breakdown. So we're gonna start in this little tabletop position right here. And I'm really gonna focus with my knees up off the ground, my hands palm facing up by my hips, and I'm just gonna curl my shoulders up off the ground. As I do this, I'm gonna start to press this low back hard into the ground. Now, when we get into this hollow body hold, we're actually getting out of a neutral spine and we're getting into deliberately flexed position to make sure that this is really tight and connected. Notice when I relax, that low back wants to arch off. So that is really what we're fighting. Now, to make this harder, we're gonna get up here, we're gonna curl ourselves off, press that low back hard. We're gonna add some weight onto the bar. And the way we're gonna add weight onto the bar is by extending a leg out just like this. Again, just like the push-ups, I want tension in the system. I don't want a soft, noodly leg. I want a toe pointed, quad flex, because if I do that, whew, that helps me out. Next thing I want to do is I want to bring an arm back overhead. Again, as I add weight to the bar, my shoulders want to drop down, my back flexes off. I want to keep those shoulders curled up off the ground. Next thing, can I add the other arm? And then can I add the other leg? And as I'm in this peak position, can I take small sips of air? And can I breathe?
Now remember, throughout this entire exercise, you want to make sure that your low back is pressed into the ground.
Whew. So now, max time hold. Let's see how I can do holding this thing. Now I'm gonna go here. Now, if you're someone who really struggles with this, the game is not just bending and breaking, it's pulling things in if you need to for the moment. But I'm gonna try to go as long as I can go here. Right now, it does not feel very strong. Oh, 20 seconds. Oh God, man, guys, I'm still feeling my ab workout from yesterday, I'm not lying. But really, all I have is 30 seconds today, which honestly, I feel like I'd probably do a little bit better, but maybe that is something that I need to work on. And notice that there are versions of this that you could hide, but we don't want to hide. We want to see your ability to hold peak tension and see how long you can hold it. But that hollow body hold, remember, you've got those different levels, both arms and legs extended. You could tuck everything in or do some mixture, but what I really care about is that low back. And if you can do this hollow body hold well, that translates to being able to maintain good running position even when you're suffering.
All right, when you're done with that, record your time and also make notes of any postural changes if you had to come out of the form, anything at all you noticed during that time. If you lose the position and your lower back comes off of the floor, that means you've dumped your pelvis forward. It's not a good position to be in, because when we dump our pelvis forward, it means we are no longer able to engage our glutes and core. And we're not really doing any good work anymore. We're just hurting our back. So don't do that. 2 exercises down, 2 to go. 2 exercises down and 2 to go.
Now, next up is going to be our couch stretch.
Maybe do a little cat-cow to get some movement in your spine.
Our mobility and range of motion as runners is huge. It's so important to have key ranges, and if I'm missing those ranges, it really affects my running mechanics. There's really nothing I can do to change. So there's a lot of different areas we could go with this, but we thought we would go with probably the #1 thing most runners are missing, which is hip extension. We sit a lot here throughout the day. If you think about it, we're typing, we're driving, etc., and we're missing this range of motion, this ability for this leg to extend out the back. And that's so key for big open stride. So we're gonna use the couch stretch to see how we do. Now, we don't love living at end ranges. We like to be comfortable in those middle ones. So in order to get comfortable in the middle, we need to carve out more space for ourselves. And that's what this couch stretch does. There's 3 levels to it. And in this test, we wanna see how comfortable you can be for 2 whole minutes without having to move or shift around. So you may be able to get into a deeper stretch as I'll show, but the key thing is your comfort level for 2 full minutes. So I'm gonna start on all 4s. I'm gonna back my leg all the way up against the wall. so that my knee, my foot, and my shin is directly against this wall right here. And my first phase is I'm just going to squeeze my butt, drive this left hip forward, and start to get a little bit of a stretch here. This is position 1. Can I get here with my knee against the wall? Some of you guys, you're not gonna be able to do this. The knee's gonna wanna come further away from the wall, and that's what we wanna be careful of. So knee all the way against the wall, can I hold here? Second phase is, can I get this foot up into a lunge? Same thing, as soon as I get here, all of a sudden I start to get more of a monster stretch in that quad in the front of that hip. Can I live here for a second? And finally, can I start to get on one hand and pull myself up into position 3, where I'm just trying to get all the way up tall, living in this nice upright position all the way. Now, key thing for this position 3, I wanna make sure that as I come up, my chest and hips come up together and I maintain the integrity of my spine. This is very different from my hip being really tight and me just arching through my back. I'm like, yep, I'm super upright, but my hip has been left behind. I wanna make sure that the whole system comes together. And can I hold this for 2 minutes? Now, you may not be able to hold this all the way up for 2 minutes, which is fine. So go to the position that you can, if that's position 2 or back to position 1. This is less of a hard challenge and more of a sense of, hey, where am I at? And can I compare one side to the other? And do I notice that one side might be a little bit tighter or stiffer, et cetera, et cetera? Can I get up here and do the same thing over here?
The couch stretch is about a lot more than stretching. It's all about mobility and range of motion, because this position that you're in is something you replicate over and over and over when you're running. Make sure you do this on both sides and take detailed notes about your mobility.
Finally, we'd be remiss if we didn't actually test your running. So we want to find a safe course, whether it's loops in the neighborhood, no stop signs, no traffic signals, no busy roads if you can help it, and go for 10 minutes. How much distance can you travel in that 10-minute period? That is the key thing. If you're someone who's new to running and you need to take a walk break here and there, that's absolutely fine. If you're someone who's a little bit more fit, hey, challenge yourself. How much distance can you cover in that time and really make it work? Now, we don't want to just count intensity here. We want to think about, hey, how's my breathing through this? Was it really ragged or was it smooth? Were my shoulders crunched up in my ears? What's my cadence like? Was I really low, or did I have a nice count? Can I count maybe my cadence in the first minute, in the final 10th minute? And then finally, are my feet slapping the ground, or are they light and quick? So you can see we get a few different aspects that we can do to test this, and then we go ahead and revisit this a couple weeks later and see where we're at. So you've seen my numbers, now it's your turn. Go ahead and do this test and let us know below in the comments how you did. Let us know what you're training for, and we will even give you feedback on if you're in the right direction or not, and maybe some things you need to work on. If you want to keep training and improve these things, we'll download the Run Experience app, because in the Together We Move program, we are going to be creating workouts specifically designed to improve these metrics, and we're going to retest as a community to get again on Wednesday, June 3rd. That's right, Global Running Day. Now, we're gonna retest all those numbers, including our 10-minute time trial, but we have a very cool partnership with Fleet Feet to ante up our 10-minute time trial by doing the My Big Run virtual race hosted by Fleet Feet. It costs $10. You can do it anywhere, and you put a $15 voucher to your local Fleet Feet store. How about them apples? So there it is. Tag you're it, let us know how it goes, and we can't wait to see you in the app and to see you and see how we all do together in this retest. I think blood's still somewhere from doing all those push-ups. Whew. Anyway guys, I'll see you in the next video. Virtual my big virtual, what am I saying? What am I saying?
If you're new to running, that's totally okay. Is this even recording? You're gonna have to go record. There's no bad. It's okay, Dilly Bowie.